Good afternoon or good morning or good whatever it is to everybody. Welcome to this webinar on tax and economic crime offences, which is pitched out of Frontline staff. My name's Jonah Hall McDonald. I'm an asset recovery and mutual legal assistance specialist. Essentially what that means is getting money back and other assets from around the world and the associated work in terms of extradition and things like that as well, which is kind of niche. But I spent most of my career working in and around complex economic crime, both for the defence, prosecution, and I've taught the criminal law in between as well. There's going to be a potted sort of CV slide later on towards the end for anybody that's interested. But for now, we're going to turn to what we're covering today. Just as a matter of housekeeping, there are times when I may be looking away. I've got a couple of screens here at home where I'm recording this. I hope that's not distracting for anybody or in any way confusing. But as I say, I've got an abundance of information, so the camera's right in the middle of those two. So if you see me glancing away, I hope that doesn't in any way break the flow. Right. The session today is going to be designed around or aimed at not certainly turning anybody into lawyers or investigators. Rather, the aim is to give a practical framework to people who are involved in organisations who might be involved in finance or automotive or any different organisation where there may be a risk in terms of economic crime. It's designed to hopefully prepare you to identify that risk, understand why the issues matter to your business and to the wider industry, and to know in turn, hopefully, when to take that knowledge forward to enable you to escalate concerns appropriately within your organisation, and also to be able to, as the organisation, to revert to the authorities on occasions when that might be appropriate in terms of making reports. So on to our second slide then. This slide is the standard aims and objectives overview slide. Today's session, as I mentioned, is a practical introduction to the tax and economic crime landscape as it affects frontline roles. We're going to look at the main legislative frameworks that govern fraud, tax evasion and related offences. We're going to examine some of the most common offences that you're likely to encounter in your practice. We're going to explain the distinction between lawful tax avoidance and criminal tax evasion. In turn, we're going to then look at how His Majesty's Revenue and Customs and other authorities currently enforce those rules, which can be somewhat abstruse, and it does change from time to time based on policy. They have a very wide remit in terms of civil, in terms of investigative, in terms of financial penalties, and in terms of the criminal law as well. So we'll look at that. And we're going to examine the relatively groundbreaking and certainly very high-profile recent cases, such as the case of the prosecution of Bernie Ecclestone. And then finally, we're going to explain some of the recent changes under the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Act 2023, which I may refer to as ECTA. Lawyers like to shorten things and like to have different abbreviations and nomenclature, and that's what we refer to it as sometimes as ECTA. And that introduces new offences, including corporate responsibility related offences, and it underlines the importance of fraud prevention procedures for organisations.